Of all the people out here, you and me and everybody else, 60% of the original downloaded programs are disempowering, self sabotaging, and limiting beliefs. This is psychologists understanding these programs. And I go, so what's the point? I go, 60% of the programs are taking away the character and quality I want. I say, well, you got to change those programs. Then that's where I say, number one, how can I change it? And I say, well, self hypnosis. That's how you got your program in the first place. Hypnosis, just by watching your parent downloading. Okay. So I say, that's number one. I say, yeah, but that only works for the first 7 years. But you still learn programs after seven. I go, how'd you do that? I say, practice, habituation. I say, you learned how to drive a car. You had to practice driving the car. And the more you practice something, the more it becomes downloaded, to the extent when you practice it enough, you don't have to think about it anymore. Why? You just have to push play and the program will play. I can drive a car without thinking about it. Well, in fact, most of the time I do. Why? Because I'm driving, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to go here and do this, or I'm talking to somebody in the car. I'm not paying attention. And yet the car is going where it's supposed to go at the speed limit, no accidents and all that. I go, well, then who's controlling? I go, the subconscious is a million times more powerful than the conscious mind anyway. It knows how to drive the car better than you have to drive the car. So the point is, are we running our lives? And the answer is 5%. How do I change it? Number one, how'd you get it? It's hypnosis. Okay. Then I say, well, what happens after age 7? Because you're not in hypnosis, but you still learn the program. I go, oh, part two, you want to change something, you make a habit. I go, what do you mean make a habit? Repetition. You got to practice something, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it to a point that the subconscious now has habituated that behavior. It knows the habit. Because once it's got the habit, you don't have to teach it anymore. It's already downloaded. It knows how to do it. So you want to drive a car? You got to practice driving the car. You want to play an instrument? Oh, you got to practice playing the instrument. You want to do a sport? You got to practice doing the sport. I go, practice is a process of habituation. Make a habit, practice it. Okay? So those are the two natural ways that we put programs into the system.